What's up guys, Drifty here from Driftwood Gaming, and I'm going to show you the action sequence that I've just made today called Mighty Guard. Here it is, Mighty Guard. It's going to cost 100 TP, and I might make it cost one of the parties, I don't know what they're like, Final Fantasy XIV style limit break thing. So yeah, let's just guard with everybody. Cool. That took a little while to make, as with most action sequences do. What I want it to do, what I haven't figured out how to do yet, is to change the background while it's casting. And then change it back. I can't figure that out. Let me know in the comments below if you know how to do that besides using an eval, because I want it to work in multiple battles. You know, so the background, like maybe there's a way we can store the background that's currently being used and then recall that background. I don't know. But anyway, what it does is it's going to grant Protect, Shell, Haste, and Regen to all allies. And it doesn't grant its own unique buff. That way, when I add a ton more of these, which I plan to do, they're not going to be overpowered, because some of them will stack, some of them won't. Like Mighty Guard's not its own state that does all this. It's just adding all those other states that you might already have. I'm also going to tier these into like Mighty Guard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because I have all of the states for Protect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Shell 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Regen, Refresh, and all. Like I have 5 tiers of multiple spells. So what Haste is doing is it's granting agility. It's a 30% agility boost, and attack speed. I don't know if attack speed's really doing much of anything. Maybe if I add attack speed into some spells that might take a long time, it'll bump you to attack before your enemies go. It might do something like that. In ATB and CTB modes, haste is super powerful. In default battle, haste is still good, but not super powerful. Protect is reducing physical damage taken by a percentage. So tier 1 is 10% PDT, physical damage taken, minus. Shell is the same thing, but for magical damage. Originally I had Protect and Shell granting magic defense and defense, but some skills and abilities will be granting what do you call it, like their damage formula is based off of those stats. So I didn't want Protect and Shell to boost damage on some skills, so instead of doing that, I've changed Protect and Shell to work by making it reduce physical damage taken and magical damage taken 10% per tier. So Protect 1 minus 10% all the way up to Protect 5, which is minus 50% damage taken. Protect for physical, Shell for magical, and Regen, I've tiered that up to also tier 5. And it's basically 2%, 4%, 6%, 8%, 10% regen of your max HP per turn. So it's pretty powerful later on when you have a lot of max HP, as you'll get more and more HP up and up. But that's basically it. I guess we could go into the database and I can show you what the action sequence actually looks like. What I'm doing with this action sequence is combining it with the Place Animations plugin to call common events for an animation sequence. So we'll take a look at the animations that I made for it. One of the animations is Yanfly's animation. This is actually the taunt animation from Yanfly. I might have changed the sound effect. I don't know if I did or not. But then I copied, pasted that, changed the tent, and changed the sound effect. And that's the animation for Shell. So basically a real simple copy paste on one of Yanfly's animations for Shell. I created this one from scratch, right here, and this one from scratch. So these took a little while when you have to do them from scratch, you know, but it's pretty cool when you learn how to do the batch option, which lets you control all of the frames or all of the animations inside of a frame. So I've been making use of the batch function inside of the animation. So I made these two from scratch, pretty cool. And then I copied this from Yanfly. What I did is with those animations is I'm using my Place Animation plugin to call those animations in a sequence. So dot 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 dot, and then this is the one that's happening first. This one's happening Actually, this one's happening. The first thing is it's calling the animation itself inside the action sequence by actually saying action animation actors. And then it's calling the common events for protect, calling the common events for shell, and calling the common events for bloom, which I'm just calling it bloom, but it's basically what I'm using for the last, white flashy part of the animation. What I do is place plugin commands and wait commands, and that's it. So I'm saying place anim as a plugin command, putting the number of the animation and then the location on the screen I want it to be, and then the delay and if I want it mirrored or not, but those are just going to be set to 0. And then I just move the X location or the Y location around to where I want them to be placed, and then they'll play when I call a common event. When I call this animation sequence inside the action sequence, it plays them all, and that's pretty cool. So looking at the actual action sequence, we're starting with a setup action, display action, making the targets immortal. I don't even know if I really need that for this sort of thing, but a lot of this is just like it's for fail-safe. Hiding the heads-up display, panning the camera, focusing on the caster, zooming in the camera, setting all the enemy's opacity to 0, calling that first common event for the purple thing across the screen. This is like the setup for all limit bursts that I'm going to be doing. And then a little motion for the user, flashing the screen purple very briefly, shaking the screen very briefly, showing an animation on the user, actually showing a few animations, so that you get like a combination, like charging up, really cool setup, And then the whole action, where I'm having the user jump up 175 pixels for 40 frames, making the user make the motion that he's casting a spell. He jumps up, and then when he lands, he does that little cast a spell thing, starts the dun 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 things, flashing the screen, doing an animation on the actors, which is calling this one. So when you say action animation, you're targeting whatever you want, and I say all actors, and I'm actually using the Mighty Guard animation. Zooming the camera back out, because my place animation doesn't take zooming into consideration. So if I'm zoomed in at whatever weird angle, it'll look off when I call the place anim. So I zoom it back out, a nice 80 frame smooth transition back out. That's why I actually did action animation here instead of a common event for the first one. So it lets animations go and play while I'm zooming out, and then wait for that animation, adding a state 177, so that's giving regen, I think. Then I'm refreshing the status, so this doesn't need to be here, but if I didn't have the heads up display on, then it wouldn't show all the states till the end. But by adding this, if I have the heads up display on, you'll see the states added and anything be changed. So I can actually get rid of that since I'm hiding the heads up display. Resetting the camera back, flashing the screen blue, calling the next one for protect, adding the protect on the actors, and this comma show doesn't need to be here unless I'm using a different first person view. Then it would actually put up text box, so I can actually get rid of that too, but I'm just leaving some of these refresh status again between every one of these. Flashing the screen green, calling the common event for shell, adding shell to all the actors, refreshing, flashing white, adding the last one, which would be haste, and then adding that haste state, refreshing the status, making all of the party do a quick brief way that they do like a victory motion. But what I really want to do is make it last a little bit longer. I wish there was a way I can do like comma 60 and make them keep doing the victory motion for a while, but it doesn't seem to work like that, so maybe I'll figure that out later. Motion evade on the user, so that's why I say actors not user, so that everybody, they don't all do the same thing. The one who made the casting, who actually used the ability, will do a slightly different one, the evade motion. We're going to wait for pop-ups. I don't even know if that needs to be there, but that's going to make sure that it doesn't go too far ahead. Resetting the camera back, which I already reset the camera, but as a failsafe towards the end, I'm also resetting the camera again. Showing the battle heads up display because I hit it at the beginning. Setting the opacity for the enemies back to 100% over 2 seconds because I made them invisible at the top. And that's pretty much it for the Mighty Guard action sequence. That's going to do it for this video. Really short video. I just wanted to, well, it's actually 9.5 minutes. Anyway, I wanted to show you guys these limit bursts, and every time I create a new limit burst I might do a video on it just so you guys can see more of what I've been up to. It's sort of like making a game, but like shorter bite-sized versions of making a game, right? And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more Let's Make a Game episodes, if you want to see more of these kind of bite-sized versions where I just show you one little tidbit of what I'm doing, or if you like these action sequences and you want to see more, I'm learning a lot more about how to use Yanfly's action sequences. I think they're super powerful. They really make the game a lot of fun. So I suggest checking out the help files. They're extensive, but take one little thing at a time. I also have some free action sequences you can use as you can look at how they're formatted right on driftwoodgaming.com, so you can go there and copy paste those if you want some very, very simple ones to sort of learn off of. But that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching again. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next video.